everyone. Let me start off by introducing myself. My name is William Schierer. Something I would like to talk to you about today is the Dallas Cowboys and what truly ranks them in the NFL, in my opinion, one of the most elite teams in history. So when you think about the NFL, what are some things that come to mind? Is it your personal favorite team? Is it a division rival or some team you don't like? Or maybe it's fantasy football? Or is it possibly the statistics behind a team, or maybe a good player in the past? For me, when I think of the Dallas Cowboys, what will come to mind is our Super Bowl wins. So what I'm actually like to talk to you about is just give you a brief history lesson about the Dallas Cowboys and some of their former players and what truly makes them one of the most elite teams in the NFL. So what makes a team elite? Is it the amount of wins behind a team, or is it the history, or is it a combination of the two? Well, for the history of the Dallas Cowboys, some things I'd like you to take away from this speech is when football first was established in America, there really wasn't too many teams. You had the NFL and you also had an AFL. It was way back in the day during the 1930s and 40s. So the Dallas Cowboys weren't really established until 1960. During that time, they were trying to figure out what to actually name the team. It started off as the Dallas Steers, then went to the Dallas Rangers, and ended up being the Dallas Cowboys. So they did not know back in the day exactly what to name them. They couldn't go with some of the other things, obviously, because the Steers doesn't sound like a good team. The Rangers, there was already another professional team named the Rangers just in baseball. So anyway, they settled on the Cowboys. So the Dallas Cowboys began their career for the most part in the early 1960s. In the 1970s, they merged to the NFC. They had some of your divisions in football are the NFC and the AFC. They are broken down into North, South, East, and West. In the Cowboys direct division, you have the Philadelphia Eagles, the New York Giants, and the Washington Redskins, who, in my opinion, are one of the most hated teams in the NFL, but yet again, I'm biased. So now that I gave you a brief history lesson on the Cowboys, let me explain to you a few of their statistics and that what really makes them who they are. So the Dallas Cowboys ended up having 5 Super Bowl championships. Out of those 5 championships, the very first one was in 1972, 1978, 1993, and 1994, as well as 1996. They had 8 Super Bowl appearances with 21 divisional championships and 30 playoff appearances. The Dallas Cowboys had the second most Super Bowl wins behind the Pittsburgh Steelers. Some people say Pittsburgh Steelers are truly among the best, but yet again, like I told you, Dallas Cowboys, I can't really complain. 5 were second most. So anyway, we ended up dominating the 1990s, and during the 1990s, we ended up winning 2 Super Bowls back to back, and another one a year later. We made the playoffs every year except for 1997. During the 90s, and some players I'm going to mention to you that actually made the Hall of Fame were Troy Aikman. He was their quarterback. He ended up throwing for 32,000 yards. We had and 165 touchdowns. We also had a great running back in the day. His name was Emmitt Smith. He ran or rushed for over 18,000 yards with 175 touchdowns. And if you want to go further back, you can go back to Roger Staubach during the 1970s, who had 22,000 passing yards with 153 touchdowns. Now those statistics are actually a little bit more, but I just want to get the meat and potatoes of it. Anyway, speaking of statistics, the numbers don't lie. Throughout history, I mean, you can argue anything you want, but when it comes down to the bare bones, numbers really don't lie. And if you look at the numbers, 5 Super Bowl championships, all the appearances with the players, we also have more players that actually made the Hall of Fame. So in conclusion, some things I'd like you to take away from this speech, and I really hope that you understand, is a little bit of the history from the Dallas Cowboys, a few of the statistics, and how many times we ended up going to the Super Bowl. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me. I really hope you took a lot away from this speech, and I thank you for listening.